Welcome everyone to Featuring Us. This is an apostolic domain where we feature different apostolates from across the globe. Today we'll be taking a look at Mr. and Mrs. Davis as they talk about their marriage. Praise the Lord, the process that God has brought them on thus far. We take a look on their journey, and I pray that you glean something from it.
Bless the Lord, everyone. I am Portia Davis.
And I am Jaleel Davis.
And we have been married for 9 months.
9 long months.
Alright, so this video will be tips on how to have a successful, godly marriage. So marriage is actually a ministry ordained by God for two people to achieve a common purpose. So the courting process.
Yeah, so during the courting process, even, our courting process was unique to our situation. We actually started courting in 2 different states. Then it was 2 different countries. So, our courting process was, kind of complicated, but we made it work for us. We spent hours on the phone, a lot of traveling,
A lot of trips.
So, and that worked for us. Your situation might be unique. So, that's our process pretty much in a nutshell.
So steps in pursuing a godly marriage. One of the main thing that you should have before even having a strong prayer life, having a relationship with God. Having a relationship with God will prevent you from making mistakes that you wouldn't have made if you had the directions of God. It will actually reveal the red flags. Sometimes we are human, sometimes the person that we love is not the person that God actually ordains for us. It's not the person that God wants to put us in a certain purpose. But when you do get the clearance from the Lord through prayer, then you can but never go into a relationship before asking God. Always ask God before you go into the relationship, because it saves you time, it saves you energy, it saves you emotion, it saves you a lot of things by just seeking God first about everything.
Yes, definitely put God at the front of everything. Even when you're seeking your spouse, even if you're in a relationship already, as my wife said before, that person might not be your spouse. So make sure you seek God before you. Another step in pursuing a godly marriage, when you're courting, definitely set boundaries. For us, there was, we made sure we didn't do any kissing, anything like that before marriage. So we told ourselves that,
our first kiss was at the altar.
Right, our first kiss was at the altar. No sex before marriage. Do what you can to make sure you don't cross that line where you have to go back to God and ask for forgiveness, right? So we just want to make sure we set those boundaries and limits, and make sure your partner too, or make sure your partner is in agreement, because if once you have a supporting partner, then it makes the whole process easier.
Yes, another thing that you should maintain with your potential spouse or your spouse per se is a prayer life. If you started with prayer, always maintain a prayer, reading the word, fasting together. We are 2 different individuals, have weaknesses, have struggles, but putting God at the head is a very good thing too. And with that, it will reveal stuff in your courting process. It will reveal stuff in your marriage also. And it's just putting God at the head in every situation. You will not regret. So the next one is maintaining. So after you are married, how do we maintain our marriage?
All right. So one of the key advice, make sure you seek counsel from couples that have been married a long time, especially couples in the church. In every church, there's actually one where they've been married for a ridiculously long time. You're like, how they accomplish it. So seek counsel from, from members in the church with, that you see they're living and, they're striving for God, and, they have a solid marriage. So they'll be able to give you all the tips, the tricks, help you get over the highs and lows. They pretty much they'll prepare you on what to expect. So, nothing will be a surprise to you.
It's another thing in maintaining a godly marriage. When you marry to your spouse, you have a covenant, and your spouse comes first. Your marriage comes first before friends, before family, and even the church. When you have a balanced marriage life, you can function properly in the church. You can function properly with your friendship, because these will go in the order that God has. Take care of your home first, then the outer parts will fall in line. So when you take care of your marriage first, the right friends will come in line. You will fall in line in church, because you have to take care of your home before you can take care of the stuff in church.
Definitely. And make sure you see other couples that's in the same age group. That's very important, because they will understand what you're going through. Sometimes I don't recommend taking advice from someone that's single, because that advice will be based on their individual point of view. So make sure you also try to associate with with friends who are also married
That have strong marriages.
right.
All right, so another thing about the prayer life that as we have mentioned before is that when going through trials and testing, it changes your mind about how you see trials and testing. At times when marriages have disagreements, we can't look at it and say, oh, my husband is the one that is doing this, or I'm the one. We have to see that the enemy does not like marriages. So that's where we have to pray about the spiritual war, because marriages are under attack in this time. The enemy does not love to see any marriages that are going strong, that are going together, that are going by the word of God. So we have to see the spiritual war to maintain the love, to maintain the fasting, to maintain the bond, the unity, and even the intimacy, because there are certain sicknesses going around, certain setbacks and delay that the enemy used to damage marriages. But with prayer and fasting, we will be able to see the things that are associated behind the scenes with them.
Definitely be each other's best friend. Definitely be open, honest with your with your wife or your husband. Don't keep any secrets. Don't don't hide stuff from them. Be transparent, be open, and that will definitely benefit you in the end.
And another thing you can do, what your partner loves, try to do more of those things and try to make them happy. In a marriage, it means pleasing my other. You are there to please the other party. It's no longer about I or myself. It's about the other person. So when each other tries to please each other, it makes the marriage less burdensome. And also it sparks a little, there are sometimes when we can do a little spontaneous stuff, surprises, even little date nights. It doesn't have to be anything that is expensive, but try to keep the intimacy, the romance together. Try to keep the love alive. Try to do the things, because at times too, when you get married, depending on how soon you have kids, it's best to try and bond in the early years of marriage, because when the kids come in, that is going to take some time away from the marriage. So you have to try as much to know your partner, be intimate with your partner, know your partner's weaknesses, their strength, and everything that the Lord will actually lead you over time. All right.
Yes, and for the guys out there, make sure you know what your partner loves. It'll come in handy, whether it be roses, chocolate, or zinger. Just harm yourself, because those come in handy when you're in a situation and you need a little help.
Yes, and for the females, create a home that your husband wants to rush come home to. Create that home that is peace. So whenever he has war out there, he knows that when he come home, he has a arms there that can comfort him, make sure his food is ready, give him a clean home, also maintain the house. Just make sure you are creating a comfortable and a peaceful environment, and then the harmony of God can take place in the home.
All right. Well, I hope this was beneficial to you. We want to thank you for featuring us, and God bless you, and have a great day. Bye.
Welcome back, welcome back. I pray that you are able to gain strength on your journey, knowing that the Lord is the God of the process. And I pray that we be encouraged to go through our own process as well. In Jesus' name, have a blessed day.